because the three of us like work from home in some capacity, it's so easy to like schlep. And a lot of times the people who want to FaceTime, like they're coming from work. So they look at least a little presentable.
Right.
Or at least my friends are. And it's like, you look like a human. I look like I just crawled out of a cave.
Welcome to Millennial, the home of pretend adulting and real talk. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
And we're recording on Tuesday nights. We're not going to be watching the State of the Union. Remember we used to get so excited about the State of the Union. Ah, the Union is strong. Woohoo, America.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
But now, even if we weren't recording tonight, I don't want to watch Trump ramble for 2+ hours
I
with
can't
lies.
believe it's that long.
PBS said it could be as long as 3 hours tonight, which would not surprise me, the way he tangents.
I know.
Jesus. Well, thanks for reminding me that there's probably going to be no Jeopardy. Because they'll have to run it.
You know what? I'm just going to catch whatever the highlights that come out from tonight. I'll watch that tomorrow.
The lowlights. Every moment he slurred his speech and went on a tangent.
Incredible.
Oh man, if I had been thinking and done some better prep, we could have set up like a bingo board or something for the State of the Union. Maybe we should do that for the next one if he's still alive. I don't know.
Yeah. That can be a spot on the bingo card. Is Trump alive?
Yeah. Has it happened?
That's the center space. Is he alive?
Yeah.
The free space.
The free space. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I just don't have the patience to watch him, do his say. It's going to be exactly him on Truth Social. Like, no thanks.
Of course.
Pass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll be sundowning real hard because doesn't the State of the Union start at 9?
Right.
Oh,
it's past his bedtime.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of makes it worth watching.
But again, Laura's right. Don't give him the views. We'll just watch the highlights. The highlights will have the sundowning too.
Hit him where it hurts, which is the viewership numbers.
That's what he really cares about.
What else is going on, Laura?
Well, Epstein files accountability continues to happen everywhere except for this country. So y'all might have seen that the former Prince Andrew was arrested last week. A couple of funny things here. First of all, he was arrested on his birthday. Secondly, his brother, King Charles, went to Fashion Week, within hours of his brother being arrested. So
that was his plans for his brother's birthday.
Way to signal to the world that you're unbothered. I guess that your brother got arrested, or the firm is just trying to make sure things seem as normal as possible. But of course, Prince Andrew, or former Prince Andrew, none of this is news, but he was arrested specifically for suspected misconduct while holding public office. In relation to the Epstein files, of course, because Epstein has to be involved. It is suspected that he was sharing confidential trade materials with Epstein. Andrew was the UK's trade envoy from 2001 to 2011, which is prime Epstein fuckery years. So it would stand to reason that there was some quid pro quo. On the basis of the public office that he was holding. And also something that's interesting about this is, I didn't know about this. This is the first arrest of a member of the royal family in centuries.
I was just going to ask Pam, I mean, she's been kind of I don't know if you want to call yourself a royal family fan, but you've been a follower of the royals. You've been kind of fascinated by the family,
I feel like
right?
that's
so it's a big deal.
An inherited thing. Yeah, I feel like, don't you think, Laura, you inherit your fascination with the royals from your mom specifically if you're a millennial? It's the Princess Diana effect. Let's be real.
It totally is.
But, I can't help but still be fascinated because I feel like it was such a big part of my childhood. And I did hear that I think it was what is it, maybe the 1400s or something like that, the last time somebody got arrested?
Yeah.
They don't take you to the tower anymore, but it's still that photo that came out of him in the back of the police car is that's gold.
Oh my God. Best photo from last week.
And I also saw some people being it's kind of they should let him keep the Prince Andrew title because it's way better for the bit if Prince Andrew gets arrested and not just some guy named Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I agree with that. I agree with that. Keep him Prince. Keep him Prince. That photo also cracked me up. I was thinking about this last night because everybody knows how houndish the British paparazzi are. You are not going to be able to sneak out of somewhere without them getting a shot of you. So why even bother trying to crouch in the back seat? Because you know you're going to look even worse trying to crouch. Just sit up and stare ahead. Just act normal.
Look more guilty.
Don't be weird.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of I was just talking about the inherited fascination with the royals. My mother was like, oh, I feel so bad for the Eugenie and anyway, somebody's gonna call us out later. But and I was like, yeah, that is sad, but it's also like way worse because like that man has daughters and yet he was still okay with being around somebody that was abusing women.
Yeah.
Like that to me is the worst part.
Yeah. Totally. And I think haven't his daughters
Beatrice.
There we go. Haven't both of his daughters left the country?
I wouldn't blame them because that's a lot.
I wouldn't either.
And their mom was already unfairly dragged through the tabloids in her day. So it's really one scandal after another for them, unfortunately. Not by their motive, but on behalf of the parents. So
yeah. Well, just one final note here, and we'll definitely keep an eye on where this goes. So Andrew was questioned. He was released about 11 hours after being arrested, but he's still under investigation. And if convicted of abusing his various privileges while holding public office, apparently the maximum sentence for that is life in prison. Now,
okay.
Is a former prince going to get life in prison? I doubt it. But, you know, maybe the UK wants to make an example of him. The US could never.
Yeah, before they used to just banish them to the colonies, but they can't do that anymore.
They arrested somebody else over in the UK too. I mean, they're taking this way more seriously, and that's refreshing to see. And I know France has their own investigations going on too. So some countries are taking action here. Prince Andrew's 66 years old. It might end up being life in prison for him, depending on the length of the sentence.
You don't think it's going to be 3 months and then house arrest in a nice palace?
Maybe. I just don't like Laura saying Andrew, right? You definitely stick with Prince Andrew. Every time you say Andrew, I perk up like you're addressing me.
Okay, what if I say Andrew Mountbatten Windsor? Full name.
Sure. Yeah.
He's
we'll have to come up with a royal
trouble.
name for me, too. Because that sounds fancy.
Well, looking back on this side of the pond, we also have to talk about SCOTUS v. Trump's bullshit tariffs. So on Friday, the Supreme Court had one of its surprise moments that we get every now and then from them. And they ruled that most of Trump's emergency tariffs that we've all been subjected to for the last year and some change are actually illegal. This was a 6-3 decision in which a couple of the conservative justices, I think it was Roberts, Barrett, and Gorsuch, sided with the liberal justices to say, actually, Trump can't do that. The law that he was trying to do that under, he can't actually declare tariffs like this under emergency law. And I thought what was really interesting about this, and it's a good reminder to what we talked about last summer with all the tax cuts that got passed. As of December, the tariffs had raised about $130 billion. And these tariffs were kind of what the administration was banking on to finance the tax cuts for the uber wealthy that we've been saddled with. So it'll be interesting to see how that works moving forward. And I will say before we get to the Trump response of it all, because you know there is one, according to the Yale Budget Lab, Americans can expect the average tariff rate to fall from 16.9% to 9.1% in light of the ruling, which feels like a bit of relief until you read on and realize that 9.1% is still the highest tariff rate that we've had since the 1940s. But, moving in the right direction. However, Trump threw a fit after all of this and threatened to use a different law to impose 15% global tariffs but what ended up rolling out was a 10% one. And under this law, the tariffs can only last 150 days.
Yeah, and this loophole that he's exploiting hasn't been tested in the courts yet, I don't think. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. And yeah, Trump, as we know, just can't admit when he has a bad idea. So when the Supreme Court threw out his tariffs, he said, "No, I'm going to try it a different way." He could have teed himself up for, because obviously the economy is not in great shape. People feel like everything is more expensive right now. He could have been like, "Oh, that damn Supreme Court. Guess we're not doing tariffs anymore," and just let it go and blame the Supreme Court. But instead, he can't admit when he has a bad idea, and he's trying to double down on it.
Totally. Well, and the thing is, like, I think the economy would still be struggling. So it would be easy for him to say, oh, if you had just left my tariffs alone, we would have been fine. You would have seen, but
Yeah.
well, I feel like it's offensive to morons to call him a moron.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to revisit that.
We refreshed our album art last year, and we have this like protest sign, and our first item on the protest sign is "Tariffs Tax Americans," and we were intending to update that protest sign somewhat regularly, but as it turns out, this has been the leading story since we released this new album art, so it's ended up being pretty evergreen, unfortunately. So that's what's happening in the news. I also just wanted to read this email we received. I thought it was very sweet. It's from Melissa. She said, "Very long time listener here. I listen to so many podcasts because I'm an avid marathon runner. On March 1st, coming up, I will be running in the Tokyo Marathon, which will complete my bucket list goal of running the Core 6 World Major Marathons and getting my 6-star medal. This is a really big deal in the running world. I'm excited but nervous as I'm recovering from being sick all week, worrying about a big snowstorm potentially delaying my flight on Tuesday. Hopefully you got out okay. And it's a long way to Tokyo. You have all run many a marathon and long training run in my ears with me as I save my favorite podcasts for these. You've also gotten me through some difficult moments in my life, such as listening to MuggleCast while driving through a national park in the middle of the night, my first time ever driving alone. It would mean so much to me if you could give me a shout out during your next episode, which I will listen to while running the marathon and may give me that little extra boost I need mid-race. I'm sure you've heard this before, but while you don't know me, I feel like we have a one-sided friendship where I know you and love you all. Go, Melissa, go! Go, Melissa,
so
go!
Exciting.
This is so sweet.
Yeah.
Insert Rocky music here to keep you pumped up during the
marathon.
Go.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, Melissa. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you do great. Let us know. Let us know how you did.
We need an update.
Let us know how it goes.
Before we continue, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. By supporting us over at patreon.com/millennial, you can get instant access to lots of perks, including After Dark. What are we talking about this week, Pam?
We're going to be talking about making life-changing decisions and specifically going through some tips I found in an article about how you might want to go about that if you're kind of going in between two different factors. The article specifically stood out to me because some of the tips that they suggested just felt like the opposite of what you usually hear. So we're going to go through those and talk about how our decision-making process has changed over the years as well.
Sounds good. Other benefits include monthly Zoom hangouts with us, live stream access, ad-free episodes, and more.
Other ways to help us out include wearing your love. You can visit shop.millennialshow.com to grab official show gear. We'd also appreciate it if you told a fellow millennial about the show, and make sure you're following us in your favorite podcast app.
After the break, we're going to talk about more ways to make and maintain friendships and the partification of productivity. Be right back. So I know we have spoken quite a bit on the show in the last couple of years about making friends, but there was this article I saw that had some additional unique tips for making and maintaining friendships. So we're going to build on our previous discussions this week. I just thought this article from the New York Times presented some new ideas that we hadn't spoken about before, and I thought they were pretty inspiring ideas. So I cherry picked a couple from the article, and there's a loneliness epidemic in the country, and people struggle to find people. That's a huge task, it feels like these days. And then, trying to find people who are giving what you are trying to put out there. So we know it's an important subject. First item I wanted to focus on in this article, tune in to intuition. So this says, when you encounter someone you've never met before but feel like you've known all your life, you need to act on it. Look for an instant feeling of trust, which is rare. Has anybody felt this before? Been lucky to experience this?
Yeah, but you know what's so funny is I also have I have a friend, a very good friend who is like the opposite. They're really good at being like, I get a bad vibe from this person, and I've been known to be more trusting. And I will say that even though it sounds really dramatic, like 9 times out of 10, this person is right about their vibe meter is very good.
They're like a dark detector in Harry Potter. They can read trouble.
Wrong show, but yes, pretty much. It's like, where am I? No, but yeah, like it's weird, and sometimes it takes a couple of years or a while for the person to show their true colors. But it's always like, well, like she's always like, I don't want to be like, I told you so, but remember I told you I got a bad vibe. It's like, yeah, I know. So.
Yeah. And I will say, I think along this line of thinking, within your intuition, you should also pay attention and like really work on refining your own discernment.
Yes.
To kind of pick up on what Pam's talking about, because I've definitely personally I've experienced this before. I have some very dear friends in my life who I had this experience with, and I'm so thankful for it. But I think in my like younger, more naive days, I had the experience of like thinking that I was making a friend like this. And because like whatever it was we bonded over was such a big thing to me personally, I was like overlooking maybe some red flags or some issue areas because in comparison to that like one big subject, things seemed, I think I minimized things. So I think that's just something to look out for when you're following your intuition, is just to be like trusting yourself to like recognize when you have, if you want to call it a soul connection to another person, like trust that feeling, but also trust yourself when you get that little feeling in your gut that's like, wait, hang on.
Yeah. And some people are chameleons too. That's even worse because it's like they're so used to changing themselves so that it fits with the other person. I always think of like one of my favorite movies, Almost Famous, when like Penny Lane gets introduced and everything. She's just like, me too. And she's like, me too. Everything is like, like I think it's like the main character is like, oh, I'm 18. She's like, me too. And he's like, actually, I'm 17. She's like, me too. And so, yeah, there are some people that are just like that, unfortunately, and it's tough sometimes to suss those people out in particular. So, I mean, maybe in that sense, it's good to have somebody else around that has your back, that can just be like, hey, did you notice this?
Yeah. So making friends out here, I definitely have at least one person in particular who like I feel like I've known all my life, despite only knowing them for 2.5 years-ish now. So this resonated with me, sort of just the tuning into your intuition and acting on it, trying to not let that opportunity go. So the next one here, stay in touch. And by this, they're talking about following up on the things that you discussed at your last hangout. It shows you were thinking of them outside of your, social time together, and you care about them. And I love that they brought this one up, because this is a situation I'm in a lot. You're out with a friend and you're talking about something, and both of you are like, oh, what was that one thing? Or where could I find that again? And you can't remember it in the moment, but then maybe later in the day or the next day, you follow up with the information. And I'm always touched by people following up, because it's like, oh, you remembered our conversation. You're still thinking about the conversation, and you wanted to close out that conversation. So I love when people do this.
Yeah, I like this a lot too. I try to do this because I think that I think sometimes it's like it's perceived as trendy to be aloof, like pretend like you don't care that much, or like
Really?
yeah, or like people would be like, "Oh, I
What?
forgot about that," but they didn't forget. They just didn't want to seem too
Oh.
invested.
Oh.
You don't know
Well,
you've never experienced that?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Like they
Interesting.
don't care.
Yeah.
It's
Is this a
trendy to
girl
not care.
thing? Yeah. It's not in like not in like an I don't care kind of way, but it's just like, oh, like I completely forgot about that, but they didn't actually forget. They just don't want to seem like they care too much.
Oh. I don't know if I could. My problem is I legitimately forget about things.
So you have to be conscious to try to remember.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
see.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe
I
it's a girl
see.
thing.
You're an idiot. Okay. Yeah.
No,
I don't
I'm
think
fucking with
so. But like
No.
I guess like I don't know, and this is I hate to bring everything back to Harry Potter, but like this I feel like this is a like generational touchstone we can all relate to because like let's be honest, we all knew people growing up, and hell, we may even know people now in adulthood who would want to act like they didn't follow that, like they were too cool for school to follow that
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
a good
thing.
example.
But
Yeah.
you would like run into them at the movie theater when the movies were coming out, and they would
Yeah.
try to shake it off like they weren't seeing that movie. But it's like, bitch, we were all in the same theater. I saw
Well,
you.
a really
you
good
know?
example of that too is like right now, like Twilight is having a renaissance, for example.
Right.
And I'm sure we all know at least one person that was like too cool for Twilight, but then now that Twilight's cool again and they don't care as much, they're like, I've always been a fan. I was always there. It's like, were you?
That I get. When we were younger, I definitely observed people behaving like that. Well, on a related note, keep the momentum going. So the article says the green shoots of friendship need tending. And in one example from the article, someone appreciates an out of the blue meme from a friend. And this person says, I'll be like, oh my gosh, in a happy moment, you thought of me. A new friend of hers has lately been cold FaceTiming her in short, very delightful bursts as a way of checking in. Some even like to keep a log of their latest interactions with friends to make sure too much time doesn't elapse between catch-ups. I have a friend who has a spreadsheet for that, and I always made fun of her, says someone in the interview. Now they have a system of their own, a list of names, each with the date and a few memorable details from the last meetup.
A lot of time, like especially when I send usually TikToks to the two of you, it's just because I'm scrolling and I'll see something in the moment and it'll make me think of you.
Right, and that's touching.
The interviewee here who said like they found cold FaceTiming very delightful. Please do not do this to me. I
No.
do not and never will I find surprise FaceTime calls delightful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Does it spike your anxiety? Because it would spike mine. I'd be like,
Yes.
what's wrong?
Right.
For
I'm like, who died?
Yeah.
For me, I don't want them looking up my nose. Like, if you're FaceTiming me,
Yeah.
I'm probably not at my desk. It's probably not in the middle of the workday, so I'm on the couch or bed, whatever. I don't want this, double chin angle up my nose, looking at all my nose hairs. I was talking with this guy a few years ago for a couple months, and he kept wanting to FaceTime. I literally disabled FaceTime on my phone because I did not want those calls coming through. I never felt FaceTime ready.
I think that's the other thing too, is I feel like anytime I've never had a time where somebody surprise FaceTime me and I was like ready to be on camera. And
Right.
maybe I've been podcasting too long and maybe I shouldn't give a shit about that stuff. But like, it feels like it's always like after I've worked out and I'm sweaty and my hair is all like messed up and gross. And I'm just
But
like,
also, I
ugh.
think like because the three of us like work from home in some capacity, it's like it's so easy to like schlep,
Yeah.
And it's like, and a lot of times the people who want to FaceTime, like they're coming from work, so they look at least a little presentable,
Right.
or at least my friends are. And it's like, you look like a human. I look like I just crawled out of a cave.
That's the thing. Like, we get put together for this show because we don't have filters in Riverside. So, we have to get put together. But I promise you, I'm like, it's all pajamas from
Yeah, I'm
From the
wearing
waist down.
here
athleisure.
down.
Yes.
Yep.
Same.
And I'm wearing a hat because I didn't do my hair. But, that said, there does seem to be this trend where people just like do these open-ended FaceTime calls with people out in public. Have you seen this before? I've seen people at the gym just on FaceTime.
No, but I mean, like my best friend will be like, "Can we FaceTime?" And I'll be like, "Sure," but I'm cooking dinner, so it's like I guess like it's weird because there's really no point because I'm putting the phone down anyway. But I guess
Yeah.
the idea is that if you needed to, you could pick up the phone and just be like, oh, "Look at this."
Yeah.
So I don't know. Um, that's the only appeal I can think of. And on the other hand too, I would just like re-recommend the app Marco Polo as well. Like if you're trying to have like continuous video
Oh, yeah.
conversations, I really love Marco Polo for staying in touch with friends because it does allow you to just like shoot off video messages to your group whenever you
Mhm.
want to. And so then you pick the time and you pick like the amount of time you're leaving that message. So it doesn't have to be like a 2-hour thing. You could just be like, hey, just wanted to check in about this.
I also love that this one person keeps a log of all their hangouts to keep track of like when they last saw somebody and what they talked about. Couldn't be me. I just try to keep that stuff in my head, but I admire the
I
effort.
don't have enough friends to do this, like to need to do this.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Quality over
from-
quantity, Pam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so this next one I find controversial. Speaking of like encroaching on someone's like personal space with a FaceTime call. Inviting yourself. This is an idea from the New York Times article. Invite yourself to social events. So one person who throws a birthday celebration for herself on the zeros and fives, whatever that means, recounts how about 5 years ago, an attendee brought along a well-known actress. Recently, on the eve of another big birthday, they got a mystery text from this friend of a friend, it turned out, that read, "Hi, I heard that you are having another birthday party and would love to swing by and celebrate you and dance. It was so fun last time. If it's more of an intimate thing, I totally get it. Otherwise, I wish you a very happy birthday and would love to see you tonight." The receiver of this text thought the gesture was so classy that they invited themselves to 2 parties this year because of it. So, like, the way this message was phrased was very good, but I would never have the nerve to say to somebody, I had such a good time hanging out with you at your last party. I heard you're having another one. Can I come? That seems so rude to me.
To be honest, this is giving like rich people etiquette in a way. If it's like,
Like,
you're renting out
entitled?
like if you're renting out an entire like hall to do some elaborate birthday and you're going to have hundreds of guests, like
Mhm.
that's what this feels like to me. Where it's like, oh, it's just one more person. Like, why would it be weird for me to invite myself? And I don't know. I can't imagine ever doing this or like someone I know doing this.
Yeah. I would advise our listeners to not do this because this seems,
Yeah.
it's just,
I don't think
I don't
it's
wanna-
classy at all.
no.
Why don't you just like it's kind of weird though because it's like yeah like you're invested but like maybe just when this person throws a party I think it would mean more if you just like reached out and said hey like I had so much fun at your birthday and getting to know you. Thanks so much for being so chill about letting me crash. I would love to like catch up and get to know you better. Do you want to do like lunch?
Yeah. Or even like just say hi and check in and see if that person then extends an invite since it's getting close to the party. Or how about asking through the grapevine? Like, oh, hey, bestie, can you ask this person who's got a birthday coming up if I can come too? You're still kind of inviting yourself, but it's not as bad as asking the host to invite you to something.
Yeah. Or just like reach out and say, hey, thinking of you and just wanted to say happy birthday. Leave it
Yeah.
there and let them invite you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If
There's a
you've been
reason you weren't
invited
invited.
before, they'll
Yeah.
probably invite you again. Just be cool. Just be cool. I don't get
that
it.
being said, this was a very nicely worded message to your point. Like it
Yeah.
was like
It was.
I mean, it is still kind of like it does feel like you're forcing someone's hand, but it's still
Yeah.
very nicely put.
Yeah, if if I got this from somebody, I would be gossiping about this to you two in After Dark
Ooh,
or with
right.
my friends.
No,
Yeah.
totally.
You have to have so much confidence to think like this person had the best time with me too. And if you're wrong, that's when we're going to hear about it. You know what I mean? Like especially if you're wrong, if that person was wrong.
Yeah,
No,
the
for real.
expectations about you will be high at that party.
Because, like, in what world, if you're thinking about, like, social acceptability, in what world is it acceptable for someone to respond to this with a no?
Right. You have
Like,
to say
it's
yes.
so awkward. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're, like, being manipulative.
Yeah.
This feels...
This is also very, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like we're harping on this a little too long, but like this whole scenario
It's
is so
so
funny to me
weird.
because it's also, it
It's
implies
really
too,
weird.
like it stresses that this is a well-known actress. So it's like, you're also then taking away the
Right.
spotlight from the person if you're a
Yeah.
well-known anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like a power dynamic of like, how do I say no to this well-known
To this
actress?
person that has more power over me because then they're going to be on like some talk show being like, I tried to go to this girl's birthday and she said no. Who would want to hang out with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So that one was a little off kilter, but one more here, and it kind of ties into what we've been discussing. Be next level thoughtful. So after a lunch date, snag a restaurant postcard and mail it to the person you ate with as a memento. That's the idea from the article. You have to do tiny romantic gestures for your friends. They recommend taking a mental inventory around friends' homes for potential gifts, as in, I got you this vegetable peeler, I know you need one. Or send a care package with, say, a favorite tea or vintage book. One of my love languages is definitely gift giving. And for example, I went to a very well-known coffee place in town here a few months ago, and I have a friend who loves um, uh, an espresso roast, and I saw they had an espresso roast, so I bought him a bag of those beans. Or with someone else, I was recommending, the Goodles mac and cheese. I think I actually recommended them on the show a while ago. They're in Costco now, so I'm eating them more than ever. I told my friend about it, and then I gave him a box the next time he was over. Just like little things like that, and people end up returning those favors too. And it's really fun giving and receiving those types of little things.
Yeah.
Do you two try to be next level thoughtful?
Yeah,
Next
I think I've done
level
that for both of you too. Like if we're doing any round robin type things and it's like, and I happen to be at a good coffee shop, I'll be like, oh, I'm just going to put a little bag of coffee in there for Laura or
Mhm.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, it's a nice little surprise, like you said.
Yeah, cheap. It could potentially cheap and goes a long way.
Yeah, or especially if if you talked about something that you enjoyed and you have like a single serve anything, like sometimes I'll hang out with friends and I'll be like, oh, I really liked like this one thing that I bought at Costco, and you're telling them about it and you're going to see them next time, be like, oh, hey, I brought you some of this thing to try so that you don't have to buy in. Yeah, that's like an easy way to do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think even just having, I mean, this isn't anything new, but like having things sent to people as just a surprise. So like I had a friend who had a birthday the other day, and I had flowers delivered in the morning with like chocolate so that when she got home from
That's
work,
so nice.
she can enjoy that, right? I've sent people like coffee before. Like if I knew they had a big thing going on in the morning, like before they had to leave to go anywhere, I would like make sure coffee was delivered. So like I think even little things like that, DoorDash is great for stuff like that because you can send stuff as gifts. So they'll get like a notification that so-and-so is sending you something so they know when to expect it.
Yeah. I was just going to say, in the age of DoorDash, it's easier than ever to do that type of thing. When my parents lost their dogs, the second one, I sent them bagels from a local place, and they never do DoorDash because they're in the boonies, and they're older generation, so they just don't think to do it. But then I notified them that something would be showing up, and my mom was like, "Do we have to tip them?" I'm like, "No, Mom, I got it. I'm handling it through the app. Don't worry about it. And you just enjoy the bagels. That's all you have to worry about."
Yeah. But like DoorDash, like you can DoorDash almost anything. Like it doesn't have to be food. Like you could DoorDash flowers, to your point, Laura.
Yeah. Yeah. Grocery item, like they'll go into the grocery store these days and pick up anything, pharmacy type items, that type of thing. Alcohol. Well, do they do alcohol?
They do because
they do?
Total
Okay.
Wine does like a lot of like stores like that will work with DoorDash. So
yeah, it just
you typically
depends on
just
what
have to
your
show
liquor laws
ID.
are.
yeah, you have to make sure
Yeah.
you have like the person that you're delivering it to is answering the door because if not, they won't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've totally done this before. I will admit I have DoorDashed wine before. And it's really awkward because they get to the door and I'm like, in my pajama slovenly like chic over here getting my bottled wine. And I'm just like holding up my little ID and they barely look at it. They're like, okay, you flash the ID. That's great.
Bathrobe, slippers, cigarette hanging out of your mouth, cat in the other
Probably
arm.
like she could not leave the house. She has an issue. She's a problem.
I mean, listen.
All right, we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to talk about the partification of productivity, which has a big social angle. So we'll be right back.
All right. So Andrew's been teasing this next segment as the partification of productivity, which is a great way to put it. I wanted to know, have you guys heard of an admin party before? This has been trending for a few months.
I haven't seen these in practice, but I do love the concept.
The concept. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll start there. So for anyone who doesn't know, an admin party is when you have friends come over and basically the goal is for all of you to tackle your respective life logistics together. So that could include anything from like you choosing to pay bills while you're also like having snacks and drinks with your friends, maybe clearing out your inbox, doing any scheduling, basically any life admin tasks that you might find yourself doing alone, except you're doing it with friends and with snacks and drinks. So under the guise of having a party, but you're all just getting shit done. I remember first hearing about this and I was like, this sounds like a great idea because it's so low effort. And also like sometimes you just need a good excuse to lock in and get everything done. Yeah. And so if you basically like plan a date to do it with somebody else, it's like automatic accountability. So
exactly. Yeah. It's like writing groups, I think. Or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, and everybody just sits there and works on their own novels or whatever they're writing.
Yes.
Or silent reading groups, I think they're called. Everybody goes to a bar or coffee shop and just reads a book to themselves, but you're all together doing it, and that kind of motivates you. I said I love this concept because I for some reason, I have this one core memory of being at a Starbucks at the 3rd and Fairfax Market in Los Angeles and just doing my taxes there. And I've gotten away from this, but over many years, found myself going to coffee shops to do work that I really did not want to do. And it was just being in that new space that gave me the motivation to actually do it. But I never thought about doing this with other friends. I'm also thinking, like, tax season's coming up. Maybe people could do an admin party for their taxes if they've been dreading taking care of all those. That could make it more fun. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, it's not just limited to the initial examples. There's other variations as well of admin parties. So you could have people over to create vision boards. A friend of mine and I did that at the beginning of the year. It was super fun to just have like something to do with our hands while we were also catching up. You could do meal prep parties. That might be fun because if everybody brings stuff to make a different thing, then maybe you could share. And so, that might be cool. This one is kind of crazy. You could do a cleaning / decluttering session. That's the one that would like scare me because like
that's
what
daunting.
if like well only because it's like I would feel bad having somebody come over to help me pick up my house.
Yeah, God
but
knows
at
what
the
they'll
same time,
find.
like if I had a friend that was like, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start, I would have no problem going over there. Be like, I will go over and I will literally like hold things up and be like, do you want to trash this? Do you want to donate it? Or do you want to put it away? Like, and I have done that for friends before because sometimes I get that it's like a mental health thing. Like you can't get over that hurdle. Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
and I guess I shouldn't poo-poo this idea too much because it's pretty common for friends to help friends pack and move out of an apartment or a house. So this
Yeah.
one actually kind of happens somewhat regularly, I think, and it's
I think it would just have to
acceptable.
be a very close friend so that you wouldn't feel, like, embarrassed by
If they found my double-ended dildo.
well, yeah, sure, that too.
Yeah, but there would need to be that level of reciprocity there that like
Right.
Pam is referring to. It would have to be someone that would do that for you as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, someone that you have enough shared history with that there's not going to be any embarrassment or judgment just in case.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe for some people it does scratch an itch. Tara, who's listening live on our Patreon, said, I would love to go help friends organize. Some people just love
Mhm.
organizing.
Yeah.
See, I would love if someone could come help me organize because
Hit up Tara.
I'm not like I keep my shit together, but like look in my closet and there's like no organization to it. Like that's really where I need
But
help.
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
purpose of a closet. Roshni's begging Tara in our chat to come over and help her.
Well, we know where the next admin party is going to be. It's going to be at Roshni's house.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
So a few other reasons for why admin parties are appealing and why it works. The main one is that adulting is hard, which is why we only pretend to do it on this show. And it also can be really
Nice.
lonely. So this sort of thing kind of kills two birds with one stone. Like we were saying, just being around others boosts focus. The article also mentions that this could be especially helpful for those who tend to procrastinate because you kind of have to get something done. Everybody's keeping their nose down and doing the same thing. The accountability factor is really big. And it makes boring tasks feel lighter and more communal. I could definitely see that being a huge motivator for people. It's like, I have to do this thing, but maybe it's not so bad if I do it like with my friend. Like sometimes my best friend will call me, she's an hour ahead, and she gets off work at 4, and I've been like, I'm winding down and I've been putting off like doing something like say like cleaning the bathroom, picking up my desk, making dinner. And as soon as she calls, like if I've been on the sofa, for longer than a half hour, I'll be like, okay, well, like I'm on the phone with her. Let me just like do this while I'm talking to her.
That's a good
So like
idea.
that's a nice little motivator too.
Helps pass the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. I think also, doing this kind of like tasky stuff in a group setting affords a sense of camaraderie. Like I'm almost thinking about it would actually be kind of cool to sit around and like all do our taxes together because who doesn't hate filing their taxes? It's not fun. But also like you can phone a friend. And not to say that that's the best way to get tax advice, but like if you have a question come up or if something's not like factoring out the way you thought it would with the way you're filling out a form, you can be like, hey, can somebody look at this? Like, this is weird. And I think, again, just like having that feedback in the room of like
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
people going through the same experience, I think lends itself to that sense of camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine and I, we do like co-working maybe once a month or so. We try and meet up and we'll just go to like a coffee shop and
that.
we'll
Cute.
break for lunch. So that's like a fun little treat too. But even though we're in like different industries, it is like one of those things where it's like if one of us is like, hey, like do you have a second? Like there is like an actual human that you could bounce something off of, even if it's just like, oh, does this sound kind of funny? Or like, how would you maybe like zhuzh this up? Or, hey, I'm trying to work through this. Like, do you have any advice like that you might be able to give me that I'm not seeing and stuff? So
So you two
that's really
talk to each
helpful too.
other. Do you keep headphones in or you're
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you do?
Only,
Oh, okay.
like we're both okay with doing that. It's mostly because I like the noise canceling focus.
That
And
makes
so,
sense.
yeah, and we're sitting close enough that it's kind of like one of those things where if one of us needs to say something, we can just be like, or we'll just like text, because like you can keep like the iMessage up and just be like, oh, do you have a sec? Or and
Yeah.
then, it's I
Headphones
mean like that's
off.
what happens in an office anyway, so it's the same to me. Like
Right.
I remember being in like actual offices before, and the person's like right across from you, and they're still like, do you have 5 minutes to check in?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very corporate without actually being corporate.
All right, y'all. Well, feel free to send in feedback about today's discussions. You can email millennialshow@gmail.com. You can use the contact form on millennialshow.com. You can leave a comment on Spotify or YouTube or DM us on social. If you enjoy the show, we'd love a review in your favorite podcast app as well. And don't forget, we love your support at patreon.com/millennial. It's what keeps this show going. Time for some recommendations. I recently made a nerdy upgrade in my house. We added some curtains in part of the house. And, call me lazy, but I just don't want to have to open and shut the curtains every day by myself because this is a space that typically gets a lot of light. So I want to continue making sure the sunlight does come in every day, all day. But okay, so maybe this is a bit bougie, but I bought automatic curtain openers. They're from a company called Switchbot, and it's really cool. These things just hang on your curtain rods and they push the curtains open themselves. And you can hook this up to your smart home, so you could just say a word, open the curtains. They work really well. They have batteries in them, but they last a while. You can set when they open based on like sunrise and sunset, which I think is really cool. I recommended to y'all Nellis auction a while ago. Basically, it's a site for people here in Vegas and I think some other cities where basically all the Amazon returns go to, and then you buy stuff at like half price. I bought these curtain openers for half price, so I was very thrilled about that. And this could also be helpful if like you have curtains that are like hard to reach. Maybe they're like high in the air, or you want to help like elderly loved ones. I'm just really into these. Switchbot automatic curtain opener, quality of life upgrade.
This might be my next frontier because I've really been, it is nice to have like, I know not everything has to be smart in your home, but it is nice to have something like a smart plug, that just makes things easier. Like I have I don't have a traditional TV in my room, but I have a projector, but you can't put like a timer on a projector if you fall asleep. If you were trying to put something on to fall asleep, but you can put a timer on your smart plug, which will shut everything down. So I kind of see it like that way. And it is like nice to be able to like set something and forget it and just know that like things are, happening without you actually having to physically do them. So
I come down in the morning and instead of it being pitch black, the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. La di da. So yeah, it was well worth it for me. They were about I want to say like 80 per, and you would need 2 if you have like 2 curtain panels. But like I said, I got them at a discount, so check it out.
My recommendation is it's a habit-based recommendation, especially in light of the fact that we are in the next month here in the United States going to be moving our clocks forward for daylight savings time. Now's a good time to get on top of your sleep hygiene if that's something that you've been trying to do. So thinking about what kinds of habits can help you get to bed on time. And I think the best thing to do is start with like setting a goal for what time you want to go to sleep. I will say I've been religious about my sleep routine lately, and it makes all the difference in the world. You literally don't need to change anything else about your routine apart from getting enough sleep, getting up early, and making sure you're getting good quality sleep, because the rest of your day will kind of fall into place in a lot of ways if you do. So,
do you use any sleep trackers?
Just my Apple Watch.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is a lot of these sleep trackers do put a lot of stock in your consistency, like going to bed at the same time every day. Not just the amount of sleep you get and the REM cycles and all that, but when you go to bed day to day.
Right. No, my Apple Watch has been congratulating me for my consistency with going to bed on time and for having high sleep scores. So, yeah.
I wanted to recommend a show called The Hunting Party, and I feel like this one in particular might be good for Laura. Season 1 is out on Netflix now, and season 2 is currently airing on NBC and Peacock. It's like a crime drama thriller, and basically the show follows this FBI agent who's been kind of out of the game, and she gets pulled back into the field because there is a secret underground prison in the U.S. that's been housing like the worst serial killers, and there's a huge explosion and some of them get out. And so they have to track down these serial killers one by one. But the real crux here is that the public thinks they've all died because the U.S. has like basically said they've been executed in prison and they're no longer roaming the streets. And so now they're all out and they need to like basically catch them fast and also quietly. So yeah, it's just a really easy procedural to get into if you're looking for something quick to binge. And season 2 is airing now on NBC and Peacock. So you can binge season 1 and then check out the new episodes over there.
Cool. Thanks, everyone, for listening. After Dark starts in a moment for patrons and Apple Podcast subscribers. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
Go, Melissa, go. Bye, everyone.
Bye.